Okay, Dr. Mindy here for my Thursday live Q&A. And before I jump into questions, I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of an idea of what you're seeing on my videos that are coming out right now on YouTube. So and to give you a little behind the scenes idea is what I'm doing is trying to take each week and teach you guys a different concept, so that as you engage in these videos more and more as the weeks go on, you feel like you're moving the needle on your health. You're not just watching a YouTube video and, oh, that's interesting, I should try that. I really want these videos to be impactful for you and that they become tools that you can use to drive your health in whatever direction that you choose. So last couple weeks we've been doing carnivore. That was like super interesting and we had some incredible results with it, which was exciting, and a lot of people lost weight. We also talked a lot about the bacterial ratio that you need for weight loss. So that video on those bacterial ratios came out on Tuesday. So know that those are there. We just got off, just FYI, I just got off the metabolic reset calls. So one of the things that I am committed to doing right now for you guys is helping you overcome metabolic syndrome. And so if you are stuck with weight loss, if you're stuck with ketosis, you are stuck bringing down your blood sugar, please join me in our metabolic reset. We have opened it up for 2 more days. We will close people coming in on Saturday night. It is a 15-day experience where I take you through all the principles that I'm teaching here. I show you how to fast. I show you different keto variations. I show you autophagy. So if that is of interest to you, please come join me in that group. It's an awesome experience. And if you've done it before, please, sorry, my mic has got issues today. Please come put it in the comments that you've done the experience. And what your experience was, because we have big fans that come out of that. But let me tell you why I bring that all to you. First, there was a story that came out on the BBC, and it came out on Scientific American about a week ago. And it was about a community of indigenous people, First Nations people here in America, that the virus came to town. And what ended up happening, the dog is, sorry, my dog is wrapped up in my, this is what happens when you go live. You get animals wrapped up in your equipment. What happened was that this community was immune compromised. And then the virus came to town and it spread like wildfire and killed so many people in the community. And the title of the article was that we had created literally the best host for this community. So it had my attention, and I dove into it to try to understand, like, what is it? What made them the best host? And here's what we found. This community was incredibly metabolic resistant. They had metabolic syndrome, everything from pre-diabetes to diabetes, but they were going to fast food restaurants all the time. Like this was a community of people that had been at the mercy of the food industry and had their bodies were so compromised from bad processed foods. And this is not a blame on the people at all. This is more like, look at what these food companies, look at, like, why aren't we giving healthy food to people, to human beings? Like, this is inhumane. So this community was just packed with diabetes, pre-diabetes, eating fast food. And then on top of that, they had so many heavy metals in their water, uranium being a big one, arsenic. In their soils, and they were living on contaminated land. And so they were in extreme immune compromised state. Now here's why I bring it to your attention, because prior to the virus coming to this town, you would have not known that this community was immune compromised. You would not, from the outside in, look at this community and said, oh my gosh, these guys are immune compromised. We better make sure the virus doesn't come to town. We accept mediocrity. And I know we have a worldwide community, but we accept here in America, more than anywhere, we accept mediocre health. And we allow that mediocre health to be like the norm. And what I'm trying to do here is ask us all to elevate our health. We got to take better care. We got to get ourselves out of this metabolic syndrome. We've got to pull the toxins out. Like, there are two sides to the viral equation, avoidance and staying immune strong. We've got to stay immune strong. So when I look at what happened to this community, my heart breaks because they were living with toxic metals in their soils and they were eating all this bad food, but they are not unique. This is happening everywhere. This is happening in America left and right. So what I did is I wanted to dive into the science for you guys and show you exactly how COVID thrives in high blood sugar. I've got videos coming out next week that's going to show you that low glutathione levels will take mild COVID symptoms and make them severe, maybe possibly death. And I want to show you what depletes your glutathione levels. So stay tuned. That video is coming on Tuesday. And then the following week, I want to show you what microbiome balance you need and what foods you can eat to help feed the bacteria you need, that if you do come in contact with the virus, that you are prepared and your body can handle it. So after the end of these 3 weeks, you will have had metabolic syndrome this week. Next week, you will have how to detox, and I'm showing you some ways that are free, and how to raise glutathione levels. And the following week, you will have what you can do to build your bacteria. And now you've got a trio of, you've got 6 videos of work you can do to put yourself into action and make yourself immune strong. So understand that's how I'm bringing this out to you, so that you can change your life. And when we get you immune strong, you stop spreading the virus. And if you come in contact with the virus, you may not even notice it. You might not even have a symptom. Wouldn't that be the perfect scenario? So I am so clear that what happened to this Navajo community is not their fault. It is, we literally created the perfect environment for this virus to grow. So let's work on us all being immune strong. And you will see everything on all my channels will be on that. Go to Instagram today, go to my Resetter podcast. I just put out a podcast on seed oils you can eat that will keep you immune strong. Everything I'm doing until this virus is gone, everything I will do will be on immune strong. That is what I'm going to focus on for you guys, so that if you follow me over the next couple months, you come out of this like just clear that you have a titanium immune system. That's what we need to all do, is we need to look within. And what concerns me is we're debating the mask, we're debating social distancing, and I would like to step out of that conversation and come into the conversation of immune strong. Now, I will make a point that the thing that was the worst scenario that happened to this group is they were immune to the Navajos. They were immune depleted, and then I don't know if it was a concert or a festival, a bunch of people came into town who had the virus, didn't wear masks, and that combination was the deadly combination. So we need to be smart with how we look at the spread, and we need to be smarter with how we look at how we can become immune strong. Make sense? Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me rant. So if there are questions, I will open it up for questions for you guys. And again, if you want to handle that metabolic syndrome, join us in the metabolic reset. Just put metabolic reset in, and we'll make sure that you get the link. So.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and we got people all over the world. We have people from the Academy on right now too. So
awesome.
And here's something. This is something that is near and dear to our hearts. This is the YouTube name is Random Rapper, and they're an Australian nurse, First Nations nurse.
Oh, nice.
And,
okay.
thinking about coming in. these are the kind of things that you'll be able to help. You want to talk about how health providers can then use these resources?
Yeah, okay, so the question, just in case you haven't heard Sequoia, and we get feedback that you're not always hearing his questions. So First Nations nurse in Australia is asking how to use these principles.
Well, they want to join in, but you want to talk about how
Healthcare workers.
Yeah,
okay.
Health providers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, let's go back to our health providers, and I want to really start off by just saying thank you for what you're doing. So let's start there. And you're in the trenches, right? So many health providers are in the trenches, knowing they're getting exposed. So again, let's rise above this moment. Let's look at the two things. We have viral avoidance and we have immune strong. So I assume in a healthcare situation, you're doing the most you can for viral avoidance. Now let's lean into immune strong. And the two biggest pieces I see are minimizing your sugar, start fasting, get yourself metabolically flexible. So one of the ways you know you're metabolically flexible is if you can go without food for an extended period of time. So all essential healthcare workers should be intermittent fasting. We are strengthening the mitochondria as we intermittent fast more. Bring your sugar loads down. We know that when you eat sugar, that the coronavirus can camouflage itself in this sugar, and it'll take your immune system a moment to be able to detect it. We don't want that. We want the minute you come in contact, boom, your immune system tags it, sends it off to the adaptive immune system, and an army gets formed to go after the virus. So make sure you're bringing sugar down, that you're intermittent fasting. And by the way, everybody of all socioeconomic backgrounds can do that. That doesn't cost any money at all. And then the other piece I would say is once you've done those, start monitoring your blood sugar. Look at your blood sugar every morning. What is it? Like, what is that blood sugar? It should be under 100. Ideally, I like 70 to 90. And if you're staying on, like you're not filled up with glucose in your body, so that's great. But that's a number. It's like the pulse oximeter to look at oxygen. That is a number we should all be looking at a couple of times a week. Our morning glucose. What is that? Is it under 100? That's good. If it's between 70 and 90, even better. If it's over 100, we've got a problem, and we need to start to work on our carb load, and we need to fast a little more. So I would definitely say that. Second piece, and you're going to see this for essential healthcare workers, is we've got to raise your glutathione levels. And so the videos next week will talk about that. If I was in a triage situation where I was actively around people coming in with COVID, I'd be supplementing with glutathione. I wouldn't even be second guessing it. And I would be so clear and strict with my diet. So those three things, that's not hard. I don't think that's hard. If it is hard, give me feedback. Like we get a lot of people that will say, well, I don't have the money to do those things. Okay, glutathione, you'll see next week. I have some food resources for you. I have some things you should pull out of your diet that deplete glutathione, like alcohol. So those kind of things you will see me talk about next week. But I really am trying to give you guys some free resources because we can't make it that only people who have money can be immune strong. We need to make it so everybody can be immune strong. So great question. Thank you so much.
They have a little nuance. You went into depth on
healthcare
providers, which was awesome.
But I didn't answer the question. I'm sorry.
I didn't ask it correctly.
Okay.
So they have been doing keto for a while, and their blood glucose is low, but they're not losing weight. This is that same registered nurse.
Okay, so registered nurse doing keto for a while, blood sugar is low, but they're not losing weight. Okay, so watch the video tomorrow on the 5 things to do. And the first thing that comes to mind is like, how long are you fasting? Sometimes we've got to fast a little longer. I like the 36-hour fast for people to kind of push that edge. So remember, your body decided to store extra glucose and insulin and toxins in your fat. That was the purpose, so it didn't store it in organs that would kill you. So your fat actually, or the extra weight you're carrying actually saved your life. So what you've got to do is create a signal to the body that it can go and it can start to release that fat. And you do that with the longer fasts. The more that blood sugar stays down over a period of time, the body's smart and it goes, It's not coming. There's not more food coming. So I think I stored some stuff. Let me go find it. And it'll go find that and burn that. The same thing will happen with toxins. So one of the most easy things you can do to get your body to let go of the stored toxins in fat is just work on opening up your detox pathways. And I've done a ton of videos on that. Sweating is a good one. We've talked about castor oil packs. If all of that isn't working, then yeah, look at your bacterial balance. So go look at the video I did on Tuesday on firmicutes to Bacteroides. And then if all of that's not working, then you might just have to do a good old-fashioned detox and really use some assistance from supplements to pull stuff out. But you'll see tomorrow, I give you an order in which 5 things that I would look at doing to be able to drop weight. So
Great. This is a question from somebody that goes by the name of Reckless. Best way to help my mom balance her postmenopausal hormones outside of clean keto diet and fasting 24 hours. I would say first would be
so the postmenopausal hormones. Yeah. So I think my team is on. If you would like a free digital copy of my book, The Menopause Reset, just put it in there. The print version, it got picked up by a publisher, so the print version is now going to take a little bit longer. We will have it in our hands in November, so stay tuned. If you want a free digital copy, just put The Menopause Reset in there and we'll send it to you. I would have her read that. The question was how to help your mom who's postmenopausal. As estrogen fluctuates and goes up and down, which is really common during menopause, what happens is that it makes you more insulin resistant. So going to these keto and fasting really can play a major part. So we have a gardener behind us.
So a few houses
so
away.
I don't know if hopefully you can still hear me well. Somebody has a blower.
Or something.
One of those days.
One of these days. We want it to be outside. Let's see.
So yeah, let me know if that helps. I mean, there's a lot. A lot of women go through menopause and they come out the other side and they're in worse health. And that was why I ended up writing the Menopause Reset, because the problem with that is that once estrogen goes down low enough, all those hormones, as they go down, they were protective for you in 30 and they disappear. And now this is why we have heart disease going up and breast cancer going up and all the things that postmenopausal women experience worse after menopause, because those they don't have those protective hormones. So there's a way to maximize your protective hormones, and I talk about that in the reset, the Menopause Reset.
So this is from Nina, who follows you in Spain.
Okay.
And has really helped, your advice has really helped.
Awesome.
With weight loss and feeling super healthy.
Awesome.
But they're losing hair.
Okay, great.
They can't get the supplements that you recommend.
Okay, so Nina is in Spain, can't get the supplements, doing well with all the other pieces, but losing hair. The easiest 2 things I would tell you. 1, find yourself a mineral supplement. So get a good mineral supplement. I don't know if they have this on the Amazon by you, but there's a product called 40,000 volts on our Amazon that is like a liquid you can put in your water and drink. So I would try for a couple weeks, really making sure that you're increasing your minerals. Second thing is make sure, I don't know what time of life you are, but if you have a cycle, I would make sure you're stepping out of ketosis the week before your cycle. So hopefully you know I've taught that before. You really need to lean in. You can intermittent fast, but you need to lean into beans, and you need to lean into potatoes and squashes, and even some fruits, citrus fruits, tropical fruits. Grass-fed beef even will help with raising progesterone that week before. So make sure you're cycling, you're not doing keto and fasting all the time. If you're doing all of that, then it's a toxic issue. Again, metals, they will sit in the receptor sites for minerals. And as the body heals, those metals often get remobilized and they go into those receptor sites, and now you're mineral deficient and your hair falls out. So try adding the minerals back in, try cycling, and if that doesn't work, then really look at a detox. Our toxin reset is worldwide, so you can go to our webpage or just put toxin reset in the comments, and my team will show you a link. But we have a lot of we've had people in Honduras join us, we've had people in Australia, people in Europe, so you can participate with us in that.
Right. And we have an international rate that doesn't
Yeah,
have the supplements.
yeah, we have an
yeah.
international rate, and we'll assist you in that process.
Great.
So,
this is from Eden Noel, and how do you clear toxins? I'm 45 and have been keto for 3.5 years and doing intermittent fasting, no weight loss, and they have 150 pounds to lose. So they've identified that maybe toxins.
Yeah, so been doing keto is the question, and still has over 100 pounds to lose. How do you get rid of toxins? So it's a great question. And again, I've got videos coming on it. So no, I'm going to say it and then you'll hear it again, which is going to be good. So the first thing is stop toxifying yourself. So just be clear that you're not getting toxins in through things like lotions that you're putting. Make sure you've checked all your lotions, your hair products. Make sure that all your cleaning products, like if we start to hone in that it's a toxic issue, the first thing to detox is don't add toxins in. Make sure your food you're eating is high quality. Make sure you're not doing things like drinking Diet Coke with keto and fasting that has synthetic chemicals in it that will make you insulin resistant. So just really look at your toxic load that you might be coming in.
Teflon pans.
Teflon pans. We've seen people with mold in their house that have gotten really immune or weight loss resistant. So make sure you're not in any kind of moldy environment. So that would be the first thing. The second thing then is I would look at doing some things like opening up your detox pathways. Are you moving? Get movement happening. Are you sweating? Do some dry brushing. Try some castor oil packs. Like open up the pathways so that when you do keto and fasting, the body feels safe to let go of the fat knowing that there's toxins in there. You might even try taking bind as you do some of the longer fasts, so as the toxins get released, you have something binding to it. If all of that doesn't work, then I would, again, go through the 90-day experience with us. We have so many people like you that have done all the right things, and they just need that to unstick their final piece of their equation. So join us in the Toxin Reset. Again, next week will all be about toxins. So make sure that you're following the checklist options that I give you next week. But I like that you know that it could be toxins. That's important. So now let's figure out how we can unstick that piece for you. Try the ones I just said.
So just a little positive here. Seattle Sapphire Low Carb World is one of your followers.
Oh, I like that. Seattle Sapphire Low Carb World.
Had weight loss surgery and been doing strict keto for years, but gained weight and was feeling awful. Then started following your ketobiotic, and all of a sudden it's a godsend, and it's finally losing weight and has a ton of energy. You want to talk about ketobiotic versus keto?
Okay, I've got a lot of thoughts on that. So did weight loss surgery, lost weight, and then gained it back, I assume, because then you went and tried keto and started doing ketobiotic. Okay, we're back at the bacteria again. So your weight issue is a bacterial issue. So there's some interesting studies. I have too many of them I'm looking at right now to make it really succinct for you to understand. But one of the things that we are seeing is that it depends on what weight loss surgery you had, but like the lap band surgery is causing a change in the microbiome in the gut. And what they're finding is that there's a positive change in the beginning, and so you start dropping weight. Of course, your stomach's like smaller, but then long term, it's got a more detrimental change in the microbiome. So I would start off by just saying that that gives you a lot of self-science that you need to work on your microbiome, which is why ketobiotic works better than like low keto. So to me, the low keto problem is that people forget to eat their vegetables. So if you've been losing weight on ketobiotic, awesome. There's your clue, is that you've got to start adding in more vegetables. That's what those bacteria need. You need to look to feed those bacteria, because then they will speed your metabolism up. So just keep that in mind and in your positive thank you. But I want you to understand, like, your body just told you so much. So now you know what to work on. And this is why we call it ketobiotic. The microbiome, you are about to hear more and more and more on the microbiome. And I think it's really important that we pair keto with the biotic piece. So, and run a gut zoomer. See what your firmicutes to Bacteroides ratio is. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the video I did on Tuesday. So.
Okay. Let's see, I'm not really sure. This is from Natalie. This is Natalie's a natural woman's bodybuilder. And they've been sipping on BCAAs. Do you know what those are?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on that?
BCAAs. Okay, so they're amino acids. So your bodybuilder, I want to know more about like what you're concerned about. Are they harmful? If they are, I mean, I have so many thoughts. So my first thought is that anything that your body should naturally make that you put from outside into you, always, and it's a supplement, not a food, concerns me. And the analogy that I can use is exogenous ketones. We're supposed to make ketones. And so when we put ketones into us, what does the intelligence of the body do? Well, I don't need to make it on my own. So the first thing is the BCAAs is like, you should be getting that in some of the meats you're eating. And so always make sure you get it from food first. And if you're on that supplementation over time for too long, your body might expect it and not know how to pull it from and break it down from different foods. So that would be the first thing. Second thing is that have you tried carnivore fasting? Because that might be an incredible for bodybuilding. I was interviewed on a podcast yesterday and by a guy who has followed much of the bodybuilding movement, and carnivore is big over there because all that collagen is supportive of building muscles and leaning people out. So, and with any supplement, please know, I just heard another story this morning of well-intending people that have an incredible supplement out there that has been tested and is full of heavy metals. So please make sure whatever supplements you're taking, write the company, ask them what kind of testing they've done, so that you're always getting the best quality possible.
Right.
So
randomized testing, right?
Right.
It can't just be select batch testing.
Right.
That's not
And I always think food first. Like, okay, how can I get what this nutrient in? How do I get it in food first? And then there's these unique moments where you do have to go into supplementation. Like next week, you might listen to it and go, I've been doing some habits that might have my glutathione levels low. I'm going to come in with a glutathione supplement. But it should always be that you come in temporarily and then you go out. It shouldn't be that you have to be on supplements forever.
Okay. Let's see. That's different. Oh, here's somebody from Germany.
Okay. Germany's in the house?
Yeah, wants to know about gout. Any idea about
gout and fasting?
Yeah, or they just want to know about gout. Any ideas?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ideas. Again, there's so much I want to say, but I don't know your personal situation. So we're seeing a lot of people with gout will get gout from fasting. So if that's your category, I would encourage you to slowly taper down how fast you're losing weight. So what we see happen is that a lot of people will end up where all these toxins are stored in their fat, and then they start fasting and they just drop in weight like left and right. They're doing keto, dropping all this weight, and those toxins get mobilized, and oftentimes they can trigger genes and they'll cause things like gout. So what you want to be able to do is make sure that you slow it down, and then I would add in things like bind, like I talked about, to grab onto the toxins. If that's not your scenario, the second scenario is, everything we're teaching here, diet variation, keto, fasting is all going to be helpful, and you might need a more of a supplement protocol. That would be another example where you would come in with some supplements for a month or two and then go out. And I think we have a protocol on my webpage, Dr. Mindy Pelz. If not, just send us an email at info at Dr. Mindy Pelz, and we'll give you the protocol that we have for gout and it's worked really well. I've had a lot of colleagues that have come to me from fasting and have had gout triggered, and we've put them on these protocols with good success.
And Debbie
So.
put a link regarding gout about apple cider vinegar to
Right,
a
great,
video
yeah.
that you've done in the
Awesome.
past on that.
Yeah, awesome. There's some little hacks like that.
Let's see. We're sort of at the last point. This is also from Reckless about their mom that they asked
Okay,
about earlier.
postmenopausal mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it worth it, the risk of removal, for getting the 8 silver fillings removed by a biological dentist?
Yeah,
and what is the important you want to talk about?
Yeah, this is a good question about the removal of the amalgam fillings. So, yes, your mouth matters. It really does, you guys. And I hate this. This is such a tough conversation.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap. It's not comfortable. So, my feeling on amalgams is that you do everything you can first. So you want to make sure that you're fasting, you've built yourself a fasting lifestyle. You want to make sure that she's doing, because the question was about the postmenopausal mom, you want to make sure she's doing all kinds of keto variation. You want to make sure she's really feeding her microbiome. You want to make sure, I call it the rushing woman syndrome, or it's Libby Weaver calls it that. You want to make sure that she's got her stress under control, that you're doing the basics first. And if none of that is working to balance out her hormones, then she's going to have to look at her mouth. And yes, you got to go to a biological dentist. Please do not go into a dentist's office, your dentist, and go, and your dentist will happily take it out. Your dentist, I see this so much with my patients where they go in for a routine cleanup and the dentist's like, let's just remove all that stuff. And they go, oh, I heard Dr. Mindy say that I should remove it. And they get it removed, but they don't get it removed properly. And the mercury comes out and remobilizes, goes into the brain and causes worse problems. So if you're going to remove them, it has to be with a biological dentist who has, they put a mask on, you've got a mask on, they use something called a dam where they're making sure that there's no redistribution of those toxins. And if you've done all those other pieces, it is absolutely worth it. Oh my gosh, I have seen some game-changing results when people get their mouth cleaned up. I had a young woman who got her mouth all cleaned up and she wasn't getting a period, and the minute she cleaned her mouth up, she started getting a period again. That was the thing that unstuck it. So it can be that miraculous thing. And make sure you're doing the basics first.
Right. Okay, we're over half an hour.
Okay.
So you have a pretty tight schedule today, so I'm going to pull you off.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Cool. Thanks for all the questions.
Yeah, thank you guys for the questions. Next Thursday, I won't be coming to you. I'm going to get off the grid for a little bit, for a week, and hang with my family in nature. So, but you'll see the videos coming out and know that they've been put in an order for a reason. I really want to empower you to be immune strong. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of what I do here on YouTube. We try to take them and turn them into squares on Instagram so that you have that visual. Listen to the Resetter podcast. This week I put out Sarah Godfried's video. Amazing. Harvard educated MD. We talked about hormones and the immune system. Please go listen to that. Holy cow, did she give some great advice. So we are out there to support you. If you need more customization, join us in our academy or in the next reset. So, okay, you guys are awesome. Remember, you're a miracle, and don't ever give up on yourself.